Okay, welcome everyone back to another episode of Muggle with a Mic. Today we have a character from The Walking Dead with us. Hey, Phil.
Good evening. Good morning.
Phil you're a trooper today because we were just talking about how you work third shift. So he's waking up right now, right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Good morning, Phil. It's 6 p.m.
Yep.
Well, so let's get you woken up. Can you show me what's on your mug today so that we can show what you're using to drink your caffeine with?
I'm still... I don't know. Is that backwards on my camera?
No, it's good.
Okay. It looks backwards to me, but yeah. I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins. It's my elf cup.
Can you pronounce that backwards?
No. I could say Docious Expelliarmus Fragicalorupus, which is Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious backwards.
Very good. They should have you do that when you get pulled over in a car, have you pronounce it backwards.
Yeah. What's on your coffee mug?
Mine is because the Steelers came from the quote from Watt from A Knight's Tale. They came behind for a more dramatic victory last night. So this is actually my sister's mug, but it's from Eaton Park and it says, "I take mine black and gold."
Oh, nice.
With a smiley cookie right on there, and it's got hot chocolate.
Mm.
So we are reviewing the latest Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to strategically plan the timeline out of this episode because I do not want to spoil it for anyone.
Oh, there's going to be, we might as well say up front, there's going to be spoilers or not.
Well, no, there'll be spoilers after the commercial break.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can listen up until then. We will talk about the movie, but we will not spoil any of the plot or anything about it. But yeah, so once we pass the point of no return, which is the commercial break, then it will be the spoiler zone.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, we're going to do two things in the movie news section. The first one is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore trailer was released. Did you happen to see it?
I did.
What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the coolest part that stuck out for me is like when Kowalski got a wand. I'm interested to see what that's about. And a little stinger at the end when he's at the Great Hall, which, Muggles aren't supposed to be able to see Hogwarts. Maybe they can see it from inside. They might not be able to see it from the outside, but I'm interested to see. So is he a squib or
like Filch?
Yeah. Or who knows? Maybe he has some magical ability. Like, not to spoil.
Phil!
No!
Oh my gosh!
Edit that out. Edit that out.
I'm gonna put a bleep there so no one knows what you said. But that's funny. No, but okay, so he got the wand, and I'm guessing he's on the Hogwarts premises on Dumbledore's orders.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that wand is something where it's like kind of like on autopilot where Muggles can use it and it kind of does the spell. Maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe,
or it's a placebo.
Dumbledore magic. Yeah.
It could maybe just be a stick.
Like, yeah, it's a stick. Here you go. Because he does want to be a wizard, which, he's, to me, like, he's my favorite character other than
Newt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, my brain is not working. It's too early or too late, depending on your.
No, you're all good. You're midnight Phil, working during an off shift. Yeah. No, I thought, okay, so we've had this whole problem with who's playing Grindelwald. It's been 12 different people. But honestly, I think they could pass that off as Johnny Depp was never the true appearance of him. Colin Farrell was never the. So I think that's okay. I don't think that's a problem anymore. And there were the first and second one I don't think did that great. I think this third one's going to be really good.
It comes out in April. Something they could have had Colin Farrell come back, and I mean, I like Mads Mikkelsen, but I mean, that would have been an option to get Colin Farrell back and be just like,
yeah. Why do you think he didn't?
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to go that route because it was kind of the guise of another wizard. It'll be interesting to see, like, how they explain it in the movie. Yeah. So I was super excited. I have a bunch of lists a list on here of all the things. We see Dumbledore fighting Credence, but he's like, I almost feel like he's not fighting him. He's just defending himself. He's not doing any offensive moves against Credence. Where's Tina? Yeah, she was absent.
Yeah. Now I watched Super Carlin Brothers.
Yeah.
And they said that another character could be doing Polyjuice and appearing like it, but it's Tina. Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, it could be, but still, just not to have her in the trailer is kind of weird. I mean, that's an assumption. It's not, you don't know that. And even if she is, it's still like, it's a trailer, you don't, who knows? But
they're not showing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does look interesting.
So I'm super duper excited for it. I was almost getting giddy like I did with the original series.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna see.
I wonder like how many movies, Fantastic Beasts movies they're gonna make. Because originally it was something like 7, but it seems like like this one they had like a lot of difficulty making. And I'm just wondering, how much they're going to stretch it. If they're just going to try to like, oh crap, we need to kind of finish this.
Well, or they're going to branch off with one character. Like my first thought is, are they going to send Jacob to Ilvermorny? And then there'll be a series over here. So I don't know.
Yeah. And that, that could be, he could be like a late bloomer as far as having magical abilities, because maybe that's how he kind of remembered everything after the first movie. Maybe
he was like, what's his name? Magical Me. And he had there was a spell to make him forget things.
Yeah. Obliviate.
Yeah. Maybe that's the wand.
Yeah.
that breaks.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Have you ever seen Fanboys? Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, I think I have. Have I? I feel like I have.
Kowalski's in it. That's like the first thing I ever saw him in. Which
is it the thing about Star Wars? Or
yeah.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was such a different character. It's just weird.
But now that you say that, I can't picture him in the movie. I've watched it recently, like in the past year or two. And I can't... Which one was he?
He was like the main...
Oh, was he?
One of the main guys, yeah. He's the one that owned the van. That.
Okay. That drove them. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so the other thing I had for... movie news is Spider-Man, which again, we will not give any spoilers right now, but Spider-Man has exceeded all of the money expectations. Also, without us having talked about it yet, I think it's exceeding the fans' expectations as well.
Yeah.
It broke the $600 million mark worldwide, garnering a total of $600.8 million at the box office, and that number just keeps going up. This came in part from a boost in international numbers. Moreover, the film is now said to have made $260 million domestically, passing Avengers Infinity War to become the second highest grossing domestic opening of all time.
Well, what's number one?
Well, that's a good... That's, to the Googles!
I didn't mean to ask you a hard question.
No, it's just not in the article that I brought up. Let me look it up.
You can't just throw out a number like that and then not expect someone to ask.
3 million.
Is it Titanic? Star Wars? It's either Star Wars or Titanic or Avatar. No, I think it's Star Wars. No, I bet you it's not Infinity War. I bet you it's Endgame.
It says Avengers Endgame is followed by No Way Home, but then No Way Home beat it. The Last Jedi was next. I'm sorry. Let me start over. I think it goes No Way Home, Avengers, Infinity, Star Wars The Force Awakens, then Star Wars The Last Jedi. So I think this article, it's updating like hourly. That article might be not up to date anymore. And I looked it up probably 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's doing well.
It's definitely doing well. And I believe they announced that they're going to do another trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be good.
Yep. But then Tom has been saying, because he's been doing movies and films for the past 6 years, that he's kind of getting tired. I saw an article that said he wants to kind of take a break from acting. But he can't do that if he signs on for something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ride that money train. That's all I got to say, Tom.
Do it while you're young.
Do it while you're young.
Then retire.
Just make that bank, and then you can retire,
It's easy for us to say, I guess, though. But you know what? I know those jobs are probably super tiring and all that stuff. But gosh, what a life.
Yeah.
To be working with all those actors, famous actors, and good trained actors. That's the other thing about, some people, I don't think like when they add comedy and stuff into these films, and when they think that they say that like people like Benedict Cumberbatch sold out because they did an MCU film, because it's just easy money. But honestly, I like that good, highly skilled, trained actors are signing on for roles like this.
Yeah.
I
do too. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with, diversifying your portfolio and just doing different, doing stuff that people like. I mean, get your name out there and,
yeah.
Fun movies. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And I enjoy it. The fans enjoy it, so yeah. I think it's good all the way around.
Well, and as an actor, having that kind of clout, being in those big blockbuster movies affords you opportunities to do projects that you want to do, smaller projects that might not get funded otherwise.
Right. Well, look at Tom. He's doing all these other movies. Like, did you see that trailer before the movie that he's doing with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah. That's from a video game. It's Uncharted.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Which I don't see him in that role. Really, that everybody thinks, and of course he's too old now, but Nathan Fillion, that character was basically, I think, like patterned after Nathan Fillion. I think he needs to be older because it's more like kind of an Indiana Jones type, and in the game he was like a little bit older, and unless they're kind of doing a prequel to the game where he's just starting out. And then Mark Wahlberg, I think that is a very big miscast. Who
would you have put?
I would have put Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
Because in the game he's, I think that Bruce Campbell would fit perfectly. In the game he's wearing like Hawaiian shirts. He's kind of. Did you ever watch Burn Notice?
Yeah, he was like the armory guy.
The CIA, ex-CIA.
Yeah.
That character is basically that character.
Okay.
So if I think that would have been a better casting choice. I just can't see Mark Wahlberg being. Again, Mark Wahlberg is not old enough. I don't feel like because.
Yeah, if you want Bruce Campbell, he's what 10 years older than Mark.
Probably,
if that,
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
But I mean,
also in
I like Tom Holland, so I'll be willing to. I'll watch it. And I know Tom Holland said that he actually, with that character, he would play it different now that he's like kind of finished it. I mean, he made the comment that he wasn't really happy with his take on that character. We'll see.
The scene that really stood out to me was when the Scottish guy said the line, and then
he's like, "What? What did you say?"
But I'm like, "You're British, shouldn't you? You should understand that." But then his character isn't.
Yeah.
He's like, "I understood him because I've practiced, Scottish before." No, I don't. But I just thought that was funny. Yeah. Because us as Americans, we would listen to a thick Scottish accent and not know what they were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that was a very quick movie news. I just wanted to go over that stuff. And now we're going to go to commercial break. Be warned afterwards. It will be.
There'll be spoilers.
Was that Scottish? That was good.
That's my Scotty, like Star Trek, when he says there'll be whales here. There'll be spoilers. Lots and lots of spoilers.
All right, here we go.
You'll be spoilt.
Spoilt?
You'll be spoiled. Just be warned.
Spoiler zone. If you haven't watched the movie, turn this off and listen to it later. Yeah. If you have watched the movie, you may continue.
Right. There you go.
Okay. Spider-Man No Way Home, rated PG-13. And I will say 2 hours, 28 minutes did not feel like 2 hours and 28 minutes.
No, it went by quick.
Yeah.
And it picks up right after the last movie.
With Mysterio, yeah.
With Mysterio, yeah.
All right, so here, this is going to be a little bit of a longer synopsis, but it summarizes everything for us to talk about because there was a lot in this movie. Okay. Spider-Man No Way Home explores the concepts of the multiverse and weaves together different generations of live-action Spider-Man films. In the film, Peter Parker seeks the help of Doctor Strange to conjure a spell so the world would forget his secret identity. The magic backfires and dangerously opens up their timeline to other universes. This resurrects characters from Sam and then Raimi. Is it Raimi's? Raimi. Yeah. Original Spider-Man trilogy from 2002 to 2007 and Mark Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man film from 2011 to 2014. These unwanted guests include the return of iconic supervillains such as Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, and Jamie Foxx as Electro. Just as Spider-Man's most vicious villains were able to enter this timeline, Holland's Peter Parker gets help from other trespassers. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's versions of Spider-Man break into this reality and achieve the multi-generational reunion fans have been waiting for.
Yay! The worst kept secret in Hollywood.
Okay, there was an article on Facebook saying, how did Sony and Marvel keep this secret so under wraps? And I'm like, meh.
They didn't. I mean, everybody's talked about it since last year. I mean, Hello.
Well, and they kind of came out and just said, okay, Toby's in it. We can't hide that. But then they just denied about Andrew, and it's kind of like...
Well, and then even, I mean, and they do this because... It kind of happens frequently. They were deny it. And then like the soundtrack release, like a week or two ahead of the movie. And one of the tracks' name was Spider-Man. And it's just like, I remember with the Phantom Menace when that came out, about a week or two before the movie hit. And then it had like a track called The Death of Qui-Gon or something like that. People were like, oh, well, he's dead.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Think, people. Think, McFly. Think. Well, I just have to say, because I'm biased towards one of them. We talked about this last week. And I knew it was him. As soon as Ned did his little ring thing, I saw him.
Ring slinging?
Yes, I saw him. And I was like, yes.
Speaking of which...
yeah.
What did you think about Ned with some latent magical talents.
The Jacob of the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was neat. I thought it was neat. I mean, he was wanting to have something special about himself other than the chairman.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that he got that, I thought it was a nice touch. He's not just a goofy sidekick.
He's not. I thought it was cool. I liked Doctor Strange's reaction. It's like, did you do that? Oh, okay. But I just wonder if that's a little foreshadow. At one point, he was wearing like the cape. I was like, oh, what if he's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme someday?
Well, now, and Wong is now. They explained that.
Yeah. Which I don't know if I like that. That's one thing. I got a list of things that I kind of didn't care for about the movie. I mean, by all means, I love the movie, but there's always a couple things. It's like, I don't know about that. And officially, I guess he's the Sorcerer Supreme since Doctor Strange got blipped.
I know your first question. Why was he in the fight cage if he's the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah,
Why is he going off and doing that piddly little stuff?
Yeah. So that's, I don't know. I guess he's kind of like in title only, but when he came back, wouldn't he have got that title back? Because even the Ancient One said he's the best of us all, the Sorcerer Supreme, like Doctor Strange. So
I guess it's almost like if you, as a manager of a department, if you leave it for 5 years, you've missed a lot, and it's going to take some catch up. I don't know. Yeah. That's the only thing I could think.
But obviously, Wong isn't on that level that Doctor Strange is.
Yeah.
And and it's not only him that got blipped. I mean, like everybody, like half the population got blipped. So I think you would be like, okay, well, here's your Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, I really don't think it's just, I don't know, a title. I mean, it's like you're kind of, you are the Sorcerer Supreme. You're the most powerful.
Well, now, the other aspect that we don't know is maybe Strange didn't want it back.
I don't know. It was kind of like the odd couple dynamic. They're kind of fighting back and forth. I don't know. It seemed to me like it kind of bugged Doctor Strange a little bit.
Well, because when you first see him, he's in like sweats, but he has his cape on.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
He had a Columbia University sweatshirt. That's where he went to medical school, I believe.
Mm-hmm. He also had a Columbia stuff down in that den downstairs in that cell. Here's my. Now, I'm sure you have more pet peeves because I don't catch the little details and little Easter eggs a lot of the time. I just enjoy the ride. But the one thing that I have to say that out of the whole movie that I didn't like or get is why would Strange allow Peter to make all those changes while he's making his little spell concoction? Why would he just appease Peter and say, okay, well, let me take that. Okay. Oh, no, now the spell's breaking.
Yeah. I think he was just at the beginning saying, okay, well, I'm going to make this concession. But then he kept on changing it every 5 minutes and he was getting distracted. And, kind of like if you're trying to concentrate and you're trying to do something. Like you said, okay, well, I'll amend this. And it just got to where he kept on.
I just feel like he started making the spell way too soon. He had no discussion like, hey, Peter, so what's going to happen is your Aunt May, MJ, Ned, no one's going to remember you.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, well, could we just have those 3 people remember me? Everyone else can forget. Oh, okay, let me make this spell with those ingredients.
Yeah.
No, it was just jumping right into it.
He was trying to do it before Wong figured it out.
Maybe. He's like a little teenager.
Yeah. I had something relevant to say, something else about Ned, but I can't remember.
Ned, the ring, ring sling.
Yeah, I can't remember. But although, Ned, I was kind of surprised a little bit because I believe in the comic books he actually became the Hobgoblin.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of waiting for that to be kind of like a stinger at the end or something.
He still could, right?
Yeah, he could, but going into it, I was just like, I wonder if they're gonna kind of go that route,
Well,
but they
because
didn't.
the whole time he's asking, "Am I going to go bad? Am I going to go bad? I don't
Yeah,
want to betray you, Peter." So I feel like they planted the seed, and they could
yeah,
that could sprout at any moment.
yeah, yeah. So,
It's interesting.
uh, so like I did like too at the beginning when they brought in Norman Osborn. That was
Hmm.
kind of like one of the gripes of the very first movie. People didn't like his outfit, like the mask.
Yep.
It's not really comic book accurate, but they were trying to do it
They
where it's
call it
like
the Power
military tech.
Ranger
Yeah.
mask.
And
Yeah.
I liked how at the beginning they kind of addressed that, and he just broke the mask, and it's just like it's William Dafoe, man. He's like a really good actor, and he's got like that face. It's like just kind of like a putty face where
Hmm.
I mean he can
Caricature.
do he can. I mean, that mask is just so uh
It overshadows
yeah, it's
in
just
a bad
stationary.
way. Yeah.
No emotion or anything. And his face, I mean, he looks like the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got the kind of like pointy teeth and everything. And I'm just glad they kind of did that where he broke the mask and got that out. And it's just like, okay, we're gonna see Willem Dafoe.
Hmm. Well, and even his voice is a character in and of itself.
Yeah,
Though when he changed from Norman to the Goblin, it's like two different people,
yeah.
literally.
Which he really liked doing that role back in the day. I mean, he enjoyed it and he wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So I mean that's always good when you have somebody that is a good actor that enjoys the role that wants to come back and just
Hmm.
they have the free reign to kind of use that as their
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I was glad that he was back and we got to see him. And then they
Absolutely.
finally actually made him more comic book accurate. Actually, even with his outfit, he kind of looked more comic book accurate.
Meaning the costume at the end.
Well, it looked like he kind of like had a hood
Hmm.
and he had like a pouch he had his goblin bombs in.
Pumpkins
So,
or whatever.
yeah,
What are they called?
pumpkin bombs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Which why are they called pumpkin bombs? They're not orange.
Well, in the comic book, they look like kind of like jack o' lanterns. So
Oh, okay, gotcha. See,
yeah,
I don't know the comic side as much. That's my question for you is when you watch these because I'm not a huge comic book aficionado, and so like I don't know if something's been changed or something looks like they pulled it straight out of the comic book. So was this one enjoyable knowing all the comic book stuff?
but yeah. I mean, it is, and I think you have to go in. And it's been forever since I even read any of the Marvel comic books. So I mean, I'm sure there's so much history because I read them back in the '80s.
Mm-hmm.
But the cinematic universe is just different than the comic book. I mean, they meld a lot of timelines, a lot of stories, and they change things because honestly, some of the costumes and stuff they have just wouldn't translate well to
Mm-hmm.
real people. I
Yeah.
mean, a bunch of people running around in spandex just doesn't look good. So, you know,
We had
they're-
three in this one.
yeah. I mean, they did do a good job with Spider-Man, but when you look at the X-Men and stuff, when they did those movies, they really changed the outfits because it just, it wouldn't
Yeah.
probably, it's hard to nail the look.
Yeah.
But I mean, just kind of like the Harry Potter movies, it's like, the first two movies were like dead on with the book. I mean, almost like
Thank you,
from
Chris
page,
Columbus.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, from page to screen. But then when you started with the third one, it's just like they deviate a lot.
Thank you,
So you
Alfonso.
just, yeah. So you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt and
I get you.
not get too caught up in that.
I think you'll enjoy it more if you're less of a stickler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I did I like that, and I was really surprised that I knew that all the other Spider-Man were going to be in it, but I figured it was just going to be a brief cameo right at the end. They were going to come in and save the day, and they were in a good third of the movie, which is great. I mean, if you're going to bring them in, you might as well do it.
Yeah. I could do a whole episode just on Andrew.
Yeah. Well, and I will have to say that out of all those Spider-Man movies, like Andrew, I mean, I like Andrew Garfield. I think he does a good job, but that was my least favorite Spider-Man series. I think we kind of talked about that.
Okay, so as opposed to series, in this one, I honestly, being a fan of one more than the others, I honestly loved all of them equally.
I did too. I thought they did a good job, and I loved it when they were kind of comparing, especially the web wood.
Do you ever have a web block?
Yeah. Is that the only place it comes out of? Your wrists?
But no, I just love that. Even though they were all Peter Parker, they were all different and yet the same.
Yeah.
They all had tragedy, but I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. You know, the other two had learned it already through tragedy, and this was where we see Tom Holland's Peter learn it with Aunt May.
Well, and that is, I think, that was one of the major things I was going to bring up. I think they did a good job of just like rebooting the Tom Holland Spider-Man without using time travel or anything else, because it was almost, I don't know, this Spider-Man was almost too, the focus wasn't on like Spider-Man and his abilities. It was almost like, hey, he's the new Iron Man. He has all this tech, and he never went through those trials that Spider-Man went through.
Yeah.
And that was a good way of, okay, so now he doesn't have all that, Stark technology anymore. And he really never had to learn those hard life lessons and the responsibility that the other ones did. And they just rebooted it, and, you have that where Aunt May died.
What?
And now I know, whoops. You went out for popcorn during that point. But, he had that happen, and now he doesn't have just his support base, because before it's like,
he doesn't have anyone.
Aunt May knew about it, which he never had, never had that. He always had to he was always kind of on his own, and he doesn't have anybody now.
Literally, and even if he's
got to make it on his own.
Went away, maybe Flash Thompson would know him or something, but no, nobody knows who he is. Strange doesn't know who he is. Thor doesn't know who he is.
Yeah. But he always had the cut. It was almost like he was Iron Man. He always had like this new suit, and it really, the focus, I don't think, was really on his abilities.
His own Peter personal ability.
As May called it. I mean, but now it's all it was all kind of tech driven, and it's like, oh well, I have these extra spider arms and kill mode, and so now it's just back to the basics where it's just like, he's Spider-Man. He's not the next. I think even the last Far From Home, that was a thing. People were like, oh, are you the next Iron Man? Are you the next? But see, all that's kind of reset now. So it'll be interesting. He never had really, which I'm glad that Marvel did it that way, because we don't need another origin story. But we never had that arc with him. So now we're kind of going back and, picking some of that up. Oh, yeah.
He is now the tech. He himself is the tech. He has no crutch. He has nothing helping him. It's just his geometry figuring out in the mirror realm. And it's just him.
Yeah, because, really, Peter Parker was one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe. He's a scientist, and that's just kind of taken away in this iteration because it was all Stark.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're kind of taking away that crutch, which is, I think, kind of a good thing.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because he's not going to be able to be Tony 2.0 because he can't go to MIT. Nobody knows who he is. They don't know he did any education or anything. So he's getting his GED, and he's just, he's just Peter, period, in a little rented out apartment on his own with his little Palpatine Lego.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because he talked to the lady from MIT and was begging, hey, consider Ned and MJ. And she's like, yeah, I will. And they got in, but he didn't, because she forgot about him, because she doesn't know who Peter Parker is. So
right. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Could you imagine waking up tomorrow and everyone you know not knowing who you are?
But I feel like why didn't he go back to just Doctor Strange and be like, hey, this is what happened. You know me. You cast this spell. I mean, he could at least, after the fact, I mean, I think Doctor Strange would believe him. I mean, he obviously...
I feel like there could have been he could have recorded a flash drive. Memories forget each other, but are you erasing all of the video evidence of you and everything?
Well, that was my next question I was going to kind of bring up with the how does that spell work? Because, I mean, obviously Flash Thompson wrote that book. I mean, so that would be out there, all the YouTube videos, all the news clips. How do they get around that? Was that altered?
I'm guessing because he was erasing his identity, not him himself. So they know of Spider-Man, they just don't know who Spider-Man is. Yeah, but I mean, that would have been documented history. Like I said, Flash Thompson's book, I mean, would have said, hey, Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Peter Parker, Peppers.
And then plus all the news clips and, the Daily Bugle saying, hey, Spider-Man's Peter Parker. So, I mean, that would be out there. Why wouldn't... I feel like I said, the spell altered that and kind of changed it.
I feel like this is the same thing as time travel. If you erase that person's memory of everything, you're erasing a person, that's going to alter time and space. Yeah. It seems very, stupid.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of the things. It's like, I don't know, something to think about, but I'm not sure how that
maybe
works.
He should have just, I don't know, should he have just taken and gone out there and said, yeah, if what I need to do to protect my friends is turn myself in and they put me in prison, then that's what I have to do.
Well, here's another question that I was thinking about while watching it. Of course, sometimes with movies, you just need to put your mind in neutral and just go with it, eat your popcorn and say, yeah. But, I mean, honestly, I know everybody would have had a knee-jerk reaction, hey, it's Peter Parker, but he could have proved he didn't murder Mysterio. Because, I mean, they could have had, the logs from, the satellite, with, what was the glass's name? That technology, Eva.
Oh, yeah. With the Tony glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead and talk and I'll look it up.
Okay, well, I mean, there would have been records of who initiated and the drone strike. And, here you have Peter Parker is basically one of the Avengers and everybody's just, I mean, they even have Rogers the musical. So, I mean, obviously... Edith. I knew it started with an E. But he obviously is a hero in everybody's eyes. I mean, so they're not even going to listen to his side of it or, take that evidence and look at it. Or, I mean, he never even explained. It's like, hey, Mysterio has the power of illusion and this is all just, he's lying. They wouldn't even give him the benefit of the doubt or listen to him. Yeah. Now, I did like how, when he was rescuing MJ, though, there was one guy that tried to tackle him.
Did you see that?
Swinging away. It's like, what are you going to do against Spider-Man? I mean,
he will win. Stop it.
There would be some idiot that would try that, though. I feel like,
some crazy cray.
Yeah.
No, but I do feel okay. So I think what Marvel was doing there, and sorry to get political, but they're doing the thing with the extreme aspect of news where you can get it online and stuff like that. So that's what they were doing with the Daily Bugle, which is very close to a term today. But they're doing that, meaning that if someone has a platform, doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, they can spread that and then...
They can. And I know, that's what I was saying, at the beginning it'd be real bad because, But I think that if you just hung in there,
Yeah.
you could have. Everybody would have seen your side.
There
I
were
mean,
allies.
you could have proven it, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of funny where when he went back to school, the one teacher was just like, you had two of them that were like really on his side, but the other one's just like conspiracy
Neutral.
theory guy. It's like, oh, you killed him.
The coach, yeah.
Yeah. But I do think there would have been, like I said, I think people would listen to him, especially since he did save the universe. I mean, helped save the universe.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it. I mean, they knew Spider-Man.
No, yeah, you can't think about it too much, or it's just, you're right. Just sit there, enjoy the movie, and don't think about it too much. But yeah, I think if I were MJ, I'd be like, Peter, honey, let's calm down, think this through. You have friends and allies. Let's talk to them and figure out what to do. But now let's segue into how he gets his name cleared. I had an audible reaction when we saw Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock.
That was going to be my next thing. Is like they're working Daredevil in, and I'm glad they're using Charlie Cox.
Yes,
and of course they're bringing in Vincent D'Onofrio.
Mm-hmm. He was on Hawkeye? Because I haven't seen that, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I mean the last episode. They've been teasing him, and you see a picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's Vincent D'Onofrio, but you don't really see him live on screen.
You're right.
But I mean, I'm sure the next episode Wednesday will have him. But at least they're saying, hey, it's canon now. These guys are.
Yeah, I love it.
And these specific actors. So it'd be interesting to see if the other Netflix Marvel series that they had, like the characters like Punisher or like Luke Cage or any of those people will be
Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica will be in the Marvel universe.
It is Jessica, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica
Jones. I was going to say James, and I was like, James is wrong. Why? No, I think there were three things I was most excited about in that movie. That was Andrew, Charlie, and then the rest of the movie.
Yeah. So Daredevil's good though. I mean, and he's supposed to be. They're making a She-Hulk series, and he will be in there because he's a lawyer. She's a lawyer. That will be. I believe it's rumored that he's going to be
good because he really is. He plays the role well.
He does.
Out of all of them,
go back and watch like the last season of that. I don't think I got to see the last season of it, so I need to go back and.
I will say the last one, I feel like it was like dragged out. Like it was like, but I was glad to have extra episodes. But yeah. So
I kind of wonder though with this movie because it's like a collaborative, Sony Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how that works. Like who has
the final say?
Who's like filming it and making the movie? Is it like Marvel and then like Sony helps, or was it like?
So based on this, I really think Marvel wrote it, and I think Sony produced it and distributed it. But I think that the arteries of it were Marvel. It had to have been, honestly, it wouldn't have been as good as what it was if it was Sony pulling all the strings.
All right. One of the other things that I did not like, since I have about three things that I didn't like, and that's not to say it was a, bad movie. It's just like I wish they would have done a better job. Excuse me. The lizard, I didn't think the CGI was like real good on the lizard.
He was in the shadows mostly. Like it was almost like they were trying to hide him because of that.
Yeah, his face and stuff. I just didn't think it was up to Marvel stand. I mean, you look at Thanos, which was almost like photorealistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you couldn't even really, like if you look at like Steppenwolf off of Justice League, that looked like a PlayStation 2 boss battle. I mean, the animation, and you look at Thanos, it's like that. I mean, that looks like it could be real. You can't tell that it's not real.
No, but the Steppenwolf on the remake on the what's his name, Snyder cut, that was so much better.
It was better, but still not Thanos level. Like I said, they, really did an awesome job with that. Whereas I just didn't think, I think the Lizard was, they could have done a better job with the Lizard. It kind of bothered. It took me out because, honestly, you look at Spider-Man, most of the shots of him in a suit are probably CGI, like doing like fights and stuff. And they did a good job with that, but the Lizard just didn't do it for me.
So did you actually see the shot where the Lizard gets punched? Because I don't remember noticing it. Was Spider-Man there?
Yeah.
Okay.
He kicked him.
Okay. I didn't notice. Yeah. Well, there's so much going on in those scenes. And I don't know about you. You and I went to the same theater. Which theater were you in?
5.
I was in 3. So
so you got a bigger screen.
Oh, did I?
I was like, yeah, because I went in there and they were like 5. And I'm like, well, crap, that's one of the smaller ones. Dang it.
Well, but I don't know about you. The lighting in it, I almost wanted to turn the brightness up on the screen. When it was a dark scene, I had trouble seeing what was going on, especially in like the fighting scene around the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
So that might have been, I was trying to catch everything, and that might be why I didn't catch that part where he kicked him.
I'll be anxious to see it when it drops on like Disney Plus. If it will, you think that one will, since it's Sony? Do you think it'll come out on Disney Plus?
Didn't they recently release Homecoming on there?
Maybe. I don't know. I own that one, so I don't really watch it on there.
I'll look it up, and you go ahead and talk.
Well, I was just going to say that I'll be glad anyway, regardless of what comes out of DVD or streaming service, to watch it on like a high definition TV.
Oh yeah.
And you can like see.
Yeah, I don't think Sony owning the distribution rights to Homecoming and Far From Home, so no. I think it might actually be, maybe it's on Paramount Plus. It might be a different one, but
I think I bought mine on Amazon like when it came out, but I can hardly wait to see it on like 4K high definition. You can pause stuff.
Absolutely. Turn the brightness up.
Yeah.
Also, did you know that the Daily Bugle actually has a TikTok account that you can go onto and
I was unaware.
like they set it up and it's actual people from the movie.
Which I'm glad that they actually, J. Jonah Jameson is the same actor that was originally in the Tobey Maguire, because I can't see anybody else playing him.
I almost wish that all the Spider-Men had run into him at one point.
Yeah.
Hey, you're the same in all of ours.
Tobey Maguire, man, he definitely is looking long in the tooth.
Cool pastor clothes, youth pastor clothes.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really seen him since the original Spider-Man, and you're used to, he's kind of like stuck in time. You're used to seeing him as Spider-Man, and like he does look quite a bit older.
He was the dad of the group, or at least the cool uncle.
Which have you seen Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes.
Okay.
You let me borrow it. Remember, you let me log on and watch it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. He while that wasn't Tobey Maguire doing the voice, it was Chris Pine. That was, that it was supposed to be that Spider-Man. Basically, because the
it was supposed to be Tobey.
Train. It was supposed to be that universe, yeah. Which he was like, kind of a little bit like overweight, and a little, But interesting fact on that, you know who did the voice of Spider-Gwen?
Who?
Is Haley Steinfeld?
From Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
I'm pretty sure you can double check that, but
other fun fact: did you know Jon Favreau played Foggy in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie? Yep.
Yeah. He also directed.
Yes, he did. Elf.
It was the Doctor.
Oh, okay. My next question was the Wong thing. And I thought it was pretty neat that Peter could resist Strange's magic. Remember when he the soul separation thing?
That was funny. Like he was kind of swimming back to his body. I'm not sure how that worked, but I thought that part was funny. I got it. I gotta laugh. And you know what surprised me though is like Doctor Strange. It's like when he was like kind of cussing on. You don't think about that with the Marvel. I mean, I know they did an Endgame and stuff, but they dropped it. But I'm pretty sure in the trailers he said "crap." Scooby Doo that crap. But like in the movie,
they made fun
like,
of it.
He actually, said,
"Say it, Phil. I'll bleep it. Say it."
But it just kind of took me off guard. I was like, oh, okay.
Whoa. Well, and they didn't do it in a way that they just said it and then forgot it. They like made a point about it.
I think it was now. Okay, so MJ, I'm kind of mixed about MJ. I mean, she's grown on me, but
about Zendaya.
Like the first movie or so, just her. I don't know, kind of angry at the world. I just didn't like her attitude. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's kind of loosened up a little bit, and
probably because of Peter.
But I did like. It's like, well, I know a couple of magic words, and one of them starts with "please."
I know.
That cracked me up. So she's kind of warming up. She's just kind of like the anti.
Stereotypical.
MJ. So. But I did think it was funny, and I'm kind of warming up to her character.
I will say she grew on me on this one. The other ones, it wasn't like I was like not for her or anything, but on this one I did, because she got pushed to the front of the stage a little bit more. I mean, her character was more crucial to the story this time, rather than Peter just nervous around her and all that stuff. Now it was teamwork.
Yeah, I guess she was just kind of like antisocial, kind of negative attitude, like the first one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's, I don't think she was ever like that in the comic books or anything.
This is a different universe.
She's had an attitude. It is. She's kind of had an attitude that's just like rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But like I said, her character's kind of like grown a little bit. So I did like her in this movie. And, but I do think that do you think they're going to get back together in the next?
They have to. If they don't,
she was wearing the necklace like at the end, so she's going to be like, well,
I just have to say, like,
but I don't know how I got it.
I have a necklace. It has sentimental value to me, but like when I wake up in the morning, I put it on. I don't even think about it. I feel weird if I don't have it on. So maybe she has her own spidey sense where she knows that she needs to put that on in the morning.
Yeah.
I
think, and that was kind of, at the end, he's wanting to tell her, he was kind of stalking her and stuff. But at the end, he's like, when she put her hair back and he saw the Band-Aid, he's like, if she's with me, she's going to get hurt in the long run. So I'm just they're happy, her and Ned. I'm just going to.
So then, okay, Peter, I'm just saying, little young one who is not, you're just going to be by yourself the rest of your life. I mean, I'm not meaning like a significant other. I'm meaning just any type of companionship, a friend. He's just going to live in that apartment by himself and not get to know anybody. Is that what's going to happen?
I think he will, and he'll probably back up with Ned and them. It's just.
So I think it's inevitable. He's gonna go back.
Yeah, and
she's going to remember and something, because their love's so strong that she'll remember him.
But I wonder if he will get into MIT, because I heard that the next trilogy is going to be him in college. And I wonder if that'll be, kind of bring it full circle back, because now he's like living in that crappy apartment. And is he going to be like a photographer for Daily Bugle? Is he going to get that job? His typical job he always gets.
I think he'll try to get an internship or some entry-level job at Stark Industries or something. Is Stark Industries still something?
I don't know, because they confiscated all that stuff.
Right.
All this
someone suggested that he would go work for the Osborns in some way, in some fashion.
Well, I don't think the Osborns are like really a thing in this universe. However, it's like the Fantastic Four are going to be, and it's rumored, like, because they're rebooting the Fantastic Four, they're going to have them in the Marvel universe now that
have that IP. Evans going to be the Flame?
The Human Torch?
Yeah, the Human Torch guy.
I doubt it. Although
You
I liked
look
him as the Human
familiar.
Torch. But I mean, it's rumored they bought like the old Avenger building. That's going to be like the Baxter Tower.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but
Oh yeah.
um, okay. Like okay, so like one thing, the last thing I didn't like, there was like kind of three things I didn't like, and like I said, these are just kind of little nitpicky things. I mean, I love the movie, obviously,
Yeah.
but I didn't like the end credits. I didn't like the song they used. I know that's like just a real like out there kind of little nitpicky thing, but I just didn't think it fit the movie real well.
I didn't think the
I just
graphics
didn't.
at the end did on the credits.
I didn't like the graphics. I didn't like the song. I just
I
thought I was just like,
honestly I can't even
really?
remember what the song was, so I must not have
Yeah,
liked it. What was it?
yeah. I don't even know. I don't. I think I've heard it. I think it was a remake, but I didn't care for it. I was just like, wow, they could have done, you know.
I
Yeah,
probably
like
agree
with
with you on that.
I liked didn't Far From Home, didn't they kind of like yearbook pictures or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was good, but yeah, this one was just like,
They
you
could have done
know,
something where, like, it was a picture or a drawing of them that then disappeared because
yeah.
they don't, their relationships with Peter are gone in a way. That would have been interesting. But I also
Well,
did not.
I
Go
would have
ahead.
thought it would have been kind of cool just to even have like pictures of, you know,
All
even
the
like
Spider-Man?
yeah, it could have been that, or like MJ and Ned, doing stuff like at
Yeah.
college, or I don't know, it's just something different. It was just I didn't think it was very creative.
Or like when
I didn't
Strange
care
is
for
the
the
sky
song.
splitting. They could have done that with different
Yeah,
people. Yeah, I had. It just looked way too teeny boppery, and the story is getting
yeah,
dark, so I think it needs to reflect that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How about the?
So I mean, like I said, those are just little nitpicky things that I just like kind of noticed. It's just like I would have done that different. But then again, I'm not spending millions of dollars to make the movie,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obviously they know what they're doing.
We're
I
just
mean, what do
the
you, I mean, did,
poor fans.
yeah, yeah.
What'd you think of the mid credit scene and the end credit?
Um,
Because now there's two.
I knew I kind of thought that they would bring Venom in it some way,
Okay,
and
so
people
the
were,
question it's just going to be Venom. It's not going to be Tom Hardy.
what do you mean?
It's not going to be Eddie because Eddie got taken back to his universe, and the symbio or whatever is the only thing that's left.
Well, I don't think it was like. I think it was just a little piece of the
Symbio
Simba,
or Simba.
symbiote. I think it was
Symbio.
just a little piece, kind of like I haven't seen like the last
Venom
Venom movie.
2.
I need to.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I need to. I saw where you can rent it, but I think it's kind of the same way where like just a little piece of. I did see in the trailer where like that serial killer, Carnage, like bit him and kind of got some of the
Yeah.
in his bloodstream, and I think that was just like a little piece that got left behind of the symbiote. So
So, I mean, are we gonna? Is the next Venom movie or story plot going to be at this timeline or universe or their original universe? Because why would you leave
yeah,
a
that's
little
like
piece of the symbiote if you're not going
yeah,
to use it in this one?
yeah. I don't. It could be. It could be that piece goes and finds Spider-Man, and
Or the
you
Eddie
know,
in this world?
yeah, which is interesting. And here's the thing: it's like, I like Venom. I like that movie. Okay, but to me, that wasn't a Marvel level movie.
Mm-hmm.
If that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, it was
This was
just
made by
like
Sony.
yeah, it was okay, but it just like it wasn't there as far as like production and like CGI and story. It just it was lacking. It wasn't a Marvel level kind of movie. So it'll be interesting bringing that Venom
Mm-hmm.
into the Marvel universe,
Yeah.
to see if they actually, kind of change it a little bit or do a little bit better production value. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. And then as far as the very last kind of end credit scene, that was more, instead of an end credit scene, it was more just like a trailer they attached almost. I mean,
and I don't
there was
think
a
that
little
was
bit like at the end when he went to see Wanda, but then the rest was just kind of like a trailer.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was nice because I'm sorry, guys, TMI, but probably about an hour and a half into the movie, I had to use the restroom, but I was not going to leave because that was about the time Andrew came in on the scene. Yeah. And so I was not going to leave, and I stayed there, and I was like, this end credit scene better be good. And then it was just a trailer, and I was like, I'm leaving. I mean, I watched the whole thing, of course, but it was like the mid credit scene was worth the wait. The end, it was kind of like, okay, it gave me some insight, but it didn't really give me any wow factor.
Yeah. You know, one of the other things about the movie that I thought, you know, they were like curing all the villains, or that was the point. It's like with Electro, I thought he just kind of like, you know, they put the thing on, it's like, boom, we sucked electricity or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah. I mean, he just kind of like gave up too easily after it was done. It's just like, yeah, you're right.
I think he was literally drained. He was drained of all his energy being like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, thank you. I'm tired. I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah.
Although they said one of the main things that they were saying in some of the videos I was watching was that in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, he never knew he didn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man. So how, when he came to this timeline, did he recognize Andrew?
Well, yeah, I was kind of watching some stuff on that too, and he didn't. However, like, you don't know at what point from that timeline maybe he found out after that movie. He never knew who he was during the movie, but obviously he was older. He looked different. He didn't have like the kind of comb over and stuff. Yeah. And yeah. So, and then they had the little Miles Morales plug in there. It's like, I would have thought you were. I always thought you were black.
Yeah.
Which he could have still known that Peter. He could have found out, you know, that that's who it was, and not known who Peter Parker was. He could have known, like, oh. You know what I'm saying? He could have been like, oh, his secret idea.
Just assumed.
Knew he's Peter Parker, but never saw what Peter Parker looked like.
Yeah, yeah. And just figured, you know, he took his hood off. That's what he looks like.
But see, some people were arguing, too, that Venom wouldn't have been there because Venom has never seen Peter Parker. Because he wasn't even in the movies. But Venom was in, like, the third Tobey Maguire movie. And it was a different Venom, but I guess they have a hive mind. So what one knows, all of them know, even though it goes beyond just one.
But is reality, is Eddie from Tobey Maguire's universe?
Not that Eddie, I don't think. I think that would have been another multiverse because it's a different actor. But I did like too that.
You're telling me the Venoms can communicate as a hive through multiverse?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Because, like,
wow.
Yeah, he even said, oh, it's that guy. You know, Venom, like in that little
voice.
Yeah, well, like in the little stinger, like at the end, he was like, it's that guy. And people were saying, well, it's because he even mentioned, he said they have a hive mind, like in that little blurb. But that's what they're saying. It's just like, well, it was a different Venom from a different multiverse, but they have that cumulative knowledge because it's a hive mind.
Gotcha. Wow. The talk about how big is that flash drive to know all that stuff that they're all thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one more thing I have to go over because this really tugged at my heartstring, is when MJ started to fall. I knew when they were at that height that something was going to happen where they were going to do the Gwen Stacy thing all over again. And it was very heart-wrenching when he saved her. And, you know, he asked if she was okay, but then she followed up Are you okay? Because
Yeah.
you look a little bit messed up right now.
Yeah. I knew, like, actually, I was working. I didn't get to see it opening night, but my son went, and he went again with me when I saw it yesterday.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Okay, well, what's your predictions for this movie?" And I tried to stay relatively unspoiled. I knew obviously that the three Spider-Man were going to be in it. I mean, that's, like I said, the worst kept secret. But that's one of my things. I was like, okay, well, you know, you saw that in the trailer where she was falling, and they showed Tom Holland like going. I said he's going to miss her, and it's going to be Andrew Garfield's going to be redeemed. He's going to be the one to save her, and
Nice.
so we got a little like a fist bump like during the movie when that happened, like, so I kind of saw that coming.
He's like, nice one, Pops. You read that one like a book.
Redemption arc. I got like quite a few things right, but there's a few things that I didn't get right. But I did like the fact
I knew as soon as she started falling. I mean, actually, I had the thought when they went up to that height and I realized she was coming out there, because they were in the little cell beforehand and then they came through the ring. But as soon as they came out, I was like, she's going to fall at some point. And either Tom will save her and Andrew will see it happen, or Andrew will be involved in somehow. I didn't really think it through that much because I was trying to follow all the fighting sequences.
But I did like the fact that they also brought back Thomas Hayden Church
to
be Sandman, because I thought I'd heard that he wasn't. It was going to be a different actor. And then I was like, well, you didn't really see him till the end. And I was like, well, that voice sounds like him, but it could be just a voice actor. They're trying to match it up. And then they actually kind of showed him at the end. And then, like, in the credits, I was looking. So I'm glad they brought him back. Now, I will say, too, that, like, that was another one that, like, when they first showed Sandman and, it was all, like, kind of digital. It was all sandy and gritty. Like, I didn't think the CGI was the best on that. Like around his mouth when he was, like, talking, it looked, like, kind of weird. It didn't. I thought that the sand effects were better.
But way back when.
Original. Yeah, and that was something they really worked on, that technology, just to be able to do that, to have all those different grains and textures, and that was a big thing at the time, and I think they actually kind of did a better job on that than they did on this.
Well, and I have to tell you, usually we don't say anything like that with a Marvel movie, so when it comes down to that, maybe that was Sony's influence on it.
Well, that's what I was wondering, like who, how, what the production was like on that, because like the Spider-Man and the costumes and everything was top notch, but it just seemed like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on the Lizard and the Sandman. And I mean, like I said, by all means, in the real big deal, it's just one of those little things I noticed. Yeah.
How'd you like the Sanctum cells? That's what I call them. How they kept them in prison down there.
Yeah, you're in a wizard's dungeon.
Roll 20.
Yeah.
D20.
I like that.
All
I
right.
liked how Dr. Octopus at the end was like, he was just kind of like, he wasn't really bad, but he was acting like he was bad. Just to help
that was
him out
good.
and stuff.
Well, and it just shows that, Tom helped him, which then domino effect helped other people. But
which he turned good, like in the second Spider-Man movie. He was always, Otto Octavius was always a good guy, good scientist. It was like the arms that kind of took over, but like at the end, he had gained control, and like right before he died, he was, kind of redeemed in that movie. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And then also, did you get the back reference with Toby and his bad back?
Yeah.
That was good because to our listeners, he injured his back on Seabiscuit, which was between Spider-Man movies or around the Spider-Man. So he always had back issues, and they even made a joke in the first one, right?
Because they even talked about recasting him for the second one. Where
with
Mysterio.
Jake Gyllenhaal, yep.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine those little things? Like, that could have changed Jake's whole trajectory and Toby's whole trajectory. Yeah. I mean, wow. Maybe Toby would have been Mysterio.
It's like a what if episode.
Oh, it is.
Well, see, originally, like, if they would have made the third movie, or is it the third or the next movie, if they would have continued to do that, Mysterio was going to be in it at the beginning. Like Bruce Campbell, like Sam Raimi always has Bruce Campbell do like a little cameo in all his movies.
Yeah.
And he was like in every Spider-Man. He was like the in the first one he was in the arena. He was like the announcer where Spider-Man came in when he first got his powers in the little wrestling ring, and he was the French like the French waiter at the restaurant. And
I vaguely remember this now.
They were going to have him be kind of mysterious. Like at the beginning, they were going to have Spider-Man bring in Mysterio. It was going to be like Bruce Campbell, where he was like all those different characters, playing those different parts. But Bruce Campbell is always like has a little cameo in Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But that was original. Yeah, that was original storyboards, like that they had for, like Spider-Man 4. So
that's neat.
Just little interesting facts.
And then also when they were up there, it's just funny that they had. I like that they addressed like almost fans' criticisms and all that kind of stuff, because Andrew's up there. Do you think Andrew's the least liked Spider-Man out of everyone?
I do.
Okay. Well, they addressed that up there, and he's like, I'm not great. And then Toby goes, no, you're amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I got that. I do. I mean, because I think they only did 2 of them, and they just didn't perform well. I don't think at the box office. I thought it was funny too when they were talking about different villains they fought. It's like, well, I fought a purple alien, and then he's
who likes drools.
I fought a guy in a rhinoceros, like Mexico.
A Russian rhino.
Russian.
Which was that Paul Giamatti?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. Well, was there anything else? I mean, we're not going to do a quiz, because I think Phil and I were so excited about this that we just wanted to talk all about this.
Yeah, it was just kind of a quick. We decided it's like Spider-Man. We got to talk about it.
Yep.
What did you think about Flash Thompson? Like in this one.
Okay, so prior to our last podcast, I had forgotten who Flash Thompson, the character, was. And so now I have Joe Manganiello in my head, and then I see that guy and I'm like, this doesn't look like Flash Thompson.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because they really built, and I wish they would have gone a little bit deeper in this. I mean, they did kind of have a funny...
Okay. I forgot to plug in my laptop, so my batteries were starting to get low, so I didn't want it to stop. Yeah. So go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but they just especially with Far From Home, they had Flash Thompson where he was just like, oh, Spider-Man and I just have this special connection. He's awesome. He's a hometown guy, and then Peter Parker, he just beats the crap out of, he doesn't like Peter Parker, but he likes it. So I wish that payoff would have been a little bit better when he found out who Spider-Man was. I mean, there was kind of a reaction there, but
yeah,
and I mean, I guess he kind of wrote that book like, oh, we're best buddies all along and everything. But I don't know. It's weird. He had the weird, kind of dyed hair and
which Flashpoint is the name of a character in some other comic, I think.
That's DC comic.
There you go.
The Flashpoint, the Flash. It was it's a reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
That comic book series.
Which, do you ever think, speaking of DC, do you think the DC universe will ever get to where MCU is, even if they reboot stuff?
I don't know. I think, I even see like Marvel. I mean, I don't think it's going to reach the pinnacle that it once was with Endgame. It all came to a head, because they spent 10 years developing all those characters, and then DC tried to fast track it because they're like, wow, look, Marvel's raking in the movies. They're doing money. They're doing such a good job, and they tried to fast track theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And there for a while, DC Comics, they were the comic book movie people. I mean, you look at Batman in '89 and like Superman in the '70s and '80s. They were the ones really making the comic book movies, but man, Marvel just kind of knocked it out of the park. And I think, like I said, that's lightning in a bottle, and I don't think Marvel will even do that with the next phases.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's not going to have that level of kind of fame or interest.
And you say that even with what they've done here with outside characters that weren't even thought of before the MCU. I mean, for this generation of MCU, but doesn't Spider-Man No Way Home kind of make you optimistic about the possible future, or no?
I would, but I think one of the reasons it's so popular is you have like 3 different generations of Spider-Man, and everybody's excited to see them back on screen. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I even think if they did that again and brought back the 3, I think it would do well, but I don't think it's going to do amazing like this one's doing. Because
amazing?
I think I mean, this is something that's never really happened before, where you've had all these different actors that have played this character come together, and it's just like really, like I said, really, really nostalgic, because that's really like Spider-Man back in 2000, and I think it's 2001 that the first one came out.
Yeah,
I mean that was really the first time Marvel had a superhero. Well, I guess like X-Men, but they did something that really translated well.
When was the Hulk?
The Hulk. I think that was later.
Okay.
Because that was, I'm pretty sure that was a little.
Because that started it all. Because Tony was at the end.
Iron Man's really what kicked it off. That was the first.
Right, but technically the Hulk did, because Tony was in a post-credit scene in that.
Yeah. Yeah, but that didn't.
It's technically canon.
Well, it is, but it wasn't. Like, what really, really kicked it off was Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's like, because it was like a well-made movie and it was well done. And that's what really kind of started the Marvel Universe. But back with the first Spider-Man, that was the first, like, that's where Marvel really actually started kind of doing it right. And it was really like Sony, but I mean, it just like translated well. And people like really have that place in their heart for like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I don't know. It's just like I said, you have like 3 different generations of Spider-Men.
Spider-Man.
That people grew up in different eras.
Yeah. Well, it's like Star Wars. It's like Tobey's the originals, Andrew's the prequels, which I think this goes along with everyone's feelings towards things, and then Tom are the sequels, although people hate the sequels and people love Tom. So, but I will say when Tobey came in, I did have, sentimental feelings towards it from when, and it was like memories were flooding back from those original movies.
It's almost like not quite the same level, but having like Luke, Leia, and Han back together, like in a Star Wars movie. The
trio, the triplets.
And you actually got to see and you actually got to see all 3 Spider-Men like interact, unlike Luke, Leia, and Han.
Yeah. Well, and they also said this was like the epitome of the Spider-Man meme with all of them pointing at each other.
Whoa! I'm really surprised they didn't have a point in the movie where they're all like pointing at each. They kind of did, but they just didn't point. They were up on the Statue of Liberty, but they didn't point. They should have. Yeah, that would have been. I'm sure there's going to be bloopers or something where they did that.
Yeah,
it's going to come out. They're going to have.
Now I heard that they were going to do an Amazing Spider-Man 3 off of this to see what happens to Andrew after these events. So that should be interesting.
And I think that if they would do that, that would I think it would do well. I think it would do better now that they've done this than, like I said, they just the second one didn't do well at all. Mm-hmm. I don't think, and they just we're scrapping.
But if you think about it also, had they not done it, could you imagine this movie without a third Spider-Man? Could you imagine him just meeting up with Tobey?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been...
They could have had the Spectacular Spider-Ham.
What's that? Should I know what that is?
Well, he was in Into the Spider-Verse, but they had a run. It was like a kind of a parody Marvel,
like Porky Pig.
They had Peter Porker and like all the where he was a pig.
Oh, that's funny.
They could have. I can see him doing like Spider-Gwen.
Which you said they may with Matt Murdock. No. Was this?
No.
Who were you saying? She-Hulk. Sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, she was in Spider-Verse. Haley,
voiced by Haley Steinfeld. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we're at 7:30, Phil.
Okay.
It flies by.
Yeah. It does
when you're in the Spider-Verse.
Get into talking. Yep.
All right. Well, I give it an A+.
I give it an A+ too. 2 thumbs up.
I
thought it was good.
Two web shooters.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't get on camera. There we go.
But I am hopeful that the Marvel Universe, of course, will be rise to it'll be like a phoenix from the ashes, and like will reach the same heights it did. But it's just like, after they ended it and killed off like half the characters, it's going to be a struggle, because like with Iron Man, you think it's like, wow, like he was really charismatic. It's like, who are they going to have to kind of lead the Avengers that's that charismatic?
Well, Phil, with great power comes great responsibility, MCU.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but you look at like the Eternals, that kind of flop.
Have you watched that yet? I have yet to watch it.
I haven't watched it. I'm just going to wait until it comes out on Disney Plus at this. I don't even think it's playing at the theaters anymore. It's just I was worried
about that. I was like, are we going to need to know stuff about... You didn't need to know anything about Eternals to watch this movie. You needed to know about, I guess, kind of WandaVision a little bit, but that would be more for Doctor Strange Multiverse. You really didn't need to know anything about any other current MCU story other than Spider-Man.
No. Well, you didn't. It's not, it's really, you just need to know the old Spider-Man, because it wasn't new characters or anything like that. But, I like Shang-Chi. I thought that was a good movie. And, Eternals kind of like, we'll see how that pans out. And I am excited about Doctor Strange. But other than that, it's like, I don't really know too much. I guess they're doing the Marvels.
Yeah.
But I just think it's going to be a difficult battle. I just don't think it'll ever reach the same level.
And I'm gonna be the yin to your yang. I'm optimistic about it, because I feel like what they did with this, I feel like they have the ingredients. Let's just see if they make the right cake.
I'm optimistic.
You don't think they have the ingredients, though?
But I think it's going to be difficult, because I think it's like, it was special. They spent like all those years developing the characters. They cast the right people. And I mean, there was some kind of duds like Thor: Dark World, and a few movies that just didn't do super great. But overall, I think like all those people like meshed well, all the actors, and there was
Well, then
just
you get
like,
to worry that maybe they're, they put everything in on, I feel, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Do you feel like they're doing that almost with Tom and Benedict?
uh, hopefully, but I don't know. We'll see. They don't know each other now.
They'll fix that.
Yeah,
Somehow, there'll be some kind of
they can
glitch.
fix it.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're MJ's gonna know who they are. Ned's gonna find a way to know. There's gonna be some connection that's so deep that no one could ever erase it because it's called love.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, they're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and they got Thor coming up, which, we'll see.
I have no idea how they could have erased.
I'm very hopeful. I just think that it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think, and I guess I got the new Black Panther coming out too. So, which I've had this theory for a long time, and I think it's going to come true with Black Panther. We'll see. I was kind of worried that my guess was going to be wrong because they were talking about, like, obviously Chadwick Boseman passed away, and they said they weren't going to recast that character. Something was going to happen to him in the Marvel universe. So a lot of people were like, well, sure, he's going to take up that mantle of Black Panther. And then I've heard that it was going to be like, what's his name? What's the
Michael B. Jordan? Oh, you paused, Phil. You paused.
Oh, okay.
You said who's the other guy in Black Panther? I didn't hear anything after that.
I'm trying to remember the character's name. He was like
Was it Michael B. Jordan's character or someone else?
It was the guy, the leader of the
other tribe.
Like, the other tribe, which I like. I just can't think of the character's name. I really liked him. So, shoot.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
International Movie Database. I put the wrong letters in. Black Panther. Sorry, I'm slow. Wakabi or M'Baku?
M'Baku.
M'Baku.
They were saying that he is going to take up the mantle of Black Panther, but I really thought, and hear me out, I think this would be perfect. Everybody loves Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
He was like one of the best villains. Why not have him come back with the multiverse and and have the opposite? He had the short end of the stick. He grew up in, where his dad was like kind of the traitor. Why not have him come in from a different multiverse and be the good guy and it be the Black Panther? I think that would be a wasted opportunity if they don't do that, because he was everybody loved him and they loved that character, even though it was a bad guy. But put a spin on it, have it like with the multiverse, have him.
What do you do with the bad one here, though?
He's dead. He died in Black Panther.
Who? Oh, he did?
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, at the end of
Michael B. Jordan. I was thinking the Wakabi guy.
No. Yeah. M'Baku. Yeah. But why not have Michael B. Jordan come back? Like I said, everybody loved him. They want him to come back. And he is actually, I heard a rumor, he's going to be involved in the Black Panther. So to me, that would make perfect sense. I just heard the other day that he is going to be involved somehow. So to me, that would be like the perfect. I mean, they're stupid if they don't do that, because he was much beloved, and everybody said, "Wow, he was a well-developed, bad guy." So he just kind of grew up on the wrong side of the tracks or whatever.
But then can you, because he's also in Fantastic Four. Well,
Chris Evans was also in Fantastic Four, but And they both played the Human Torch. So,
Hey, here's another Spider-Man movie, but with the Human Torch.
yeah. Well, yeah, they could just have all the Human Torches and
Yeah. Then they're a human.
keep pointing.
Human. What's bigger than a torch?
Bonfire.
Bonfire.
The human bonfire. But I mean, you think about it, but wouldn't that be perfect? Just, they said they aren't going to, recast that character. It is what it is. They're going to have a new Black Panther. To me, that's perfect. He could have some redemption by having, different universe, him come through and him be the good guy. Yep. I mean, he's very likable. I like him he's a great actor. Why not do that? Everybody loved him in the Marvel universe, so I think it's a waste not to bring him back and have him.
Or what if you bring him from another universe where he is Black Panther?
Exactly. Well,
he already is.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since you're playing with the multiverse, you could. I mean, it's
a multiverse of madness.
The choices are infinite. Yeah. So.
Alrighty. Well, this could be an infinite episode. We could go on and on and on and on. But I have one quiz question for you, Phil. We'll end with one quiz question.
Oh boy.
Are you ready? And there is a correct answer.
Okay.
And just know that I'm asking this question.
Okay.
Who is the best Spider-Man?
Oh, I'd say
there's an answer. No, there's an answer.
Not Andrew Garfield.
Okay, you lose. Lose.
I actually, I would say Tobey Maguire just for nostalgia for me, but I wasn't a really super huge fan of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I mean, I like Andrew Garfield, but actually in this movie, they did it right. I mean, I liked him a lot. So,
yeah. So the question again, according to me,
Andrew Garfield.
Yes, ding, 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 ding. You win today, Phil.
Yay.
Yay. All right, we'll end this episode.
Okay.
Thanks for joining, Phil.
Pleasure as always.
How would you end it? There you go, yeah.
I was going to say Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. With great power
comes great responsibility.